Today, I want to talk about a build that I've been working on for the past couple weeks here, and I'm not sure that there's actually a resource that will explain it this way. And so, this is kind of designed for either people who may not know um, what APRS is, or new hams, or people who are interested in radio who kind of want to check out what kind of things you can build. And so this video is going to be about an APRS node, which you see here. And then you'll also learn about how to build an iGate and digipeater using a Raspberry Pi. So let's start with the basics here. So this is the basic pathway if you wanted to do an APRS message to a cell phone. You're going to have a tablet. You could also use a cell phone, but any sort of smart device connected in to a VHF radio, so a ham radio. And when you send a message with using this tablet, this radio is going to send it out, and it's going to be picked up by an iGate, and the iGate is going to allow it to enter the internet. It's going to go into the cellular system, the cellular servers, and then out a cell tower to somebody's cell phone. And the cell phone, if they reply, it can send it directly back. So this is just a basic diagram of the pathway that this is taking. So it's not going from radio to cell phone, it's going radio to the iGates, the internet, cell tower, cell phones. Okay, I got that down. If you would like to participate in the APRS system through SMS, which is with a cell phone, so whether you're a ham guy that wants to send yourself or loved ones messages using the APRS system, you have to opt into it. And this keeps spamming down because otherwise our iGates would be just destroyed with spammers trying to spam out cell phone numbers through the APRS system. So basically, this is the website up here, aprs.wiki, and you'll type in your phone number and you'll click the opt-in, you opt in, and then you'll receive a text message. And you want to save that phone number under APRS, because that's going to be your contact number to get into the APRS system. I would like to also note that if you're on a cell phone and you're trying to send a message through the APRS system to somebody's radio, their address, or what you would consider maybe like their phone number, is going to be their call sign. So if you get their call sign and you have to start your message, so you're going to open up a new message in your SMS, and then you're going to do the @ symbol, and then their call sign, and then a space, and then whatever message you want them to get. And that will deliver it to them if their radio is on and if they're within range of a digipeater. If they're not within range of a digipeater, it will not get to them. This is where we're going to enter some complexity. And so this is a little diagram that I created to help anyone who's new to this understand what's going on. And so if you're a new ham or you're interested in radio and you want to kind of see the capabilities, for this, the purpose of this video, I'm not going to go over software. There's pretty extensive videos on YouTube or other forums online that will explain this just with a Google search of how to download the software. And so the first one we're going to take a look at is we're going to take a look at the APRS personal node, as I like to call it here. Okay, so this is a basic APRS node setup. So you're going to need either a tablet, which I'm using an Android tablet. You can use an Apple tablet. You can use a cell phone, any smartphone, or a computer. and you are going to download. You're just going to go to the App Store, look up APRS Droid, download that. There's some videos on YouTube that will help you with what settings you need on that, and how to set that up. But it's pretty straightforward if you understand radio. If you don't understand radio, it might take a little bit, and the videos will be helpful. Then you'll need a VHF ham radio, and the caveat here is that you need this BTEC APRS-K1 cable. This can be found on Amazon. If you just search that, it'll come up. They're about $20. These are important because it will protect your device from high audio levels or interference coming in from your ham radio. Next is the hardware for your iGate and digipeater. And so I want to explain a couple things on here. So you need a Raspberry Pi, and you're going to install Direwolf, which is an open source program that you'll run on your Raspberry Pi. Obviously, you'll be connected to power supply, and you'll need this USB sound card. I have it up here. You can look this up on Amazon. I think it's $10, something along those lines. And then you're going to have a microphone in, and you're going to have a stereo out. And you're going to have to get then a splitter to attach to your BTEC APRS K1 cable. And this is going to be a second cable that you need. So that other node we were looking at, that's what you're going to carry around with you to send messages. And this is going to be kind of like a home base that you're going to set up at your house. And so this cable here, this is very important, this setup here. And another important piece of this is you cannot, like if you're using, let's say like a Baofeng UV5R, a lot of people think, they can just put this on their charger and it will, charge it while it's being used. And that is one way you can do it, but it's not very good for long-term use. And that's because you're charging the lithium battery while you're discharging it. So if you're getting a lot of traffic, that battery is going to get really, really hot. And as this radio heats up, you're going to start dealing with frequency drift. And that's just, you're not going to want to do that. Let's put it that way. So what I did was I took mine completely apart, and I soldered this adapter that can be found on Amazon. I think this was 14 or 15 bucks, something like that. And it has to be 8.4 volts, 2 amps. And you're going to take the charger apart. I'll show a picture of this coming up, but you're going to take the charger apart. You're going to hardwire this in, so you can basically just plug this charger straight into the radio, and then you have a radio that's powered from the wall and not from a battery. And this is going to be dramatically better at keeping this radio cool and keeping it functioning correctly. Here is the very messy picture of the setup and its test configuration. I haven't found a good solution quite yet to make everything look neat and tidy, but after a little more testing, I'll figure out a case or a box or some type of wall-mounted solution for this to make it look a little cleaner. But this will give you the general idea of what it will look like. You have your Raspberry Pi. Underneath right here, underneath the radio, this is a Baofeng UV5R. Underneath this radio is the inside of the charger. And so that's what that power supply is going to plug into, that one you order off Amazon, the 8.4 volt one. And what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to, underneath here, there's going to be 2 pins, and they're going to have to be soldered together on this in order to make it just a charging circuit. And the back side of the radio will have 4 pins that come down that are push pins. And so you're going to have to solder, you have to make your solder connection from this charger to the radio then. And so this, I've just put a dab of hot glue on just to kind of hold it in place while I'm testing everything to make sure it's working properly. And so far it is. and then you're going to attach your antenna. And this one I have, it goes up and into my attic and out onto a antenna that I have mounted on my roof. And so this should do basically my entire small town that I live in. And so this is the charger that goes to the radio. This is the charger to the Raspberry Pi. And then this is that VTech cable that's connecting it into the Pi. So I know it's kind of messy. I wish I had a better picture, and maybe in the future I'll do a little better explainer of how I'm putting all this stuff together. But it works very well so far. It definitely does, and definitely pleased with it. The other thing when you get into the Raspberry Pi is if you're familiar with Linux at all, which coming into this I was not, and that was kind of a learning curve for me. But you can write a system service file that will restart this, that will restart Direwolf on PowerUp. So you can run this headless. So you can plug this into a TV and operate it like a normal computer. But I didn't necessarily want to do that. I just wanted, if the power cut off for some reason, that it would automatically turn back on, reload, and come back online. And so that's the setup that I have here going on. The other thing I'd like to note is on your radio, you're going to want your volume maybe like 3/4 of the way up on your Raspberry Pi, and then on your personal node, the one that goes into the tablet, that one seems to work a little better if your radio's volume is about at 50%, about halfway up. It decodes much better. And so with both of those, it took a little bit of dinking around with it to get that to work. And so that's just something to watch out for if you're doing this build, is your volume levels. It'll definitely throw you for a loop and throw you down a rabbit hole that you don't necessarily need to go down. And so this is the build. It's, like I said, it's messy right now, but hopefully in the near future here, it'll look a little cleaner. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and I hope it's sprung either some ideas or some learning, or maybe you're trying to do something like this, and it's answered some questions for you. And so, yeah, back to this would be your node that you'd carry around, and yeah, you just type in, you go to this message button, and you just type in, the contact that you want to message, and it'll message them. There's a thing that's called aliases on APRS, and if you look up a video on APRS Droid how to set aliases, you can do that. So you can set like at and then somebody's name, like first name or something, and it'll send the message to that phone number. So the phone number then is not on the APRS system anymore, but it's kind of in the background. That would be something that after it's all set up and you're kind of fine tuning things, you can set into there. But it's definitely very cool, and I hope you've enjoyed this. And until the next video, we'll see you later.